Book 3. The Council of the Ages. Chapter 1. Part 2. Tanya Gemenegra was vomiting as a result of exhaustion. And it was not easy to achieve, since the dwarf was used to the training of the Legion of the Brothers of Danka Atar. But this was insane. You couldn't train that way until exhaustion, and he did it every day before dawn. Sometimes Aris accompanied him, rarely the truth, and he could keep up with Agnorok, but she barely managed to complete many of the routines. Whenever the dwarf made an extreme effort, the deformed areas of her face hurt unbearably, a stabbing pain that penetrated to the brain. Something that left him breathless, but the half-orc seemed not to understand it and kicked her in the butt to spur her on. "You have to get up, Tanya." "I can't, I'm exhausted." But the half-orc did not understand the dwarf's complaints and incorporated her. Tanya could not handle the sword, besides it was a weapon that she hardly used. She was used to the double-edged compound axe, the traditional weapon of the dwarfs. "I don't want to." "You don't want to. This is not about wanting to or not. One day life will force you to fight, and that day you will be tired, sick, hurt and sleepless. Your opponent, however, will be rested and will only seek one thing: to defeat you. That's not fair. What does justice and honor matter in the end? Dying without honor makes no sense. But you die anyway and the other will win. Honor will matter little, except for those who mourn you in the grave." Tanya remained silent. In the end the half-orc was right. Perhaps the victories in the massacre in the blood mines or the final victory on Burning Hill had been just. Did anyone care about the form? No, what counted was only the victory. We had to win no matter what. The dwarf became emboldened and launched a furious attack on the mercenary. But it was a desperate and unreasoned attack. It was very easy for Agnorok to dodge the dwarf's greatsword, and then trip it up and throw it to the ground. The fight ended with the edge of the half-orc's sword on Tanya's neck. "Never stop thinking with your head, dwarf." He made a small wound in her neck, before walking away. Tanya sat up slightly. "You're a son of a bitch. Tomorrow you will rest, you need it, you deformed dwarf." Tanya spat on the ground and began to slam the earth. "I'm sick of this shit. Why am I not dead? I'm just a puppet for everyone to laugh at me." He heard a gentle smile from someone approaching from behind. "What are you laughing at? Do you want me to punch you in the face?" It was Arian, who sat next to the dwarf. Tanya blushed. She thought he was a mercenary, not a Laban's priestess. "You remind me of someone." The priestess spoke while giving some water to the dwarf, who drank it greedily. "Who?" "To him." The dwarf fell silent. "Have you known him for a long time?" "A while ago, we met Gosberg in a place far from here." "I can ask you something, Arian?" "Yes, right. Why did they save my life?" The priestess smiled and gently stroked on the dwarf's deformity, the caresses soothing the dwarf's pains. "Don't worry, everything will be fine." Arian got up and left Tanya alone with her doubts. Agnorok had finished bathing after training. Being captain, he had a small room for himself, nothing special. Space at the company's headquarters was highly coveted, especially after the success of the Iron War. Even so, he was allowed to have a bed, a trunk, and a desk with a chair where he could write something. He looked at his almanac and smiled. He only had 1 year left on his contract with the company. Right now he could buy his freedom with the soldier and the spoils of war. But what the hell, it was only a year and he needed all the savings possible if he wanted to retire in Vale Nevodo. That was his plan. Retreat into Snowvale and forget Sharnaries and all its wars. He was the son of the goddess of death, and he had not been asked. Agnorok had decided his destiny. No matter how much the gods wanted, this half-orc would retire to the mountains to die in peace for the years that his mother granted him to exist. Besides, things were very quiet. The Iron War seemed to have left the kingdoms very soft. As always, there were some conflicts, of course, but of little importance. It would be a very quiet year, and even de Boek did not seem very worried. He had everything he wanted for his company, plenty of gold in the trunks and great reputation. It was considered without a doubt as the best mercenary company in Almera. In the war he had defeated the other companies, now no one would doubt who were the best. Many mercenaries hired for the war were discharged, only those necessary to cover the casualties remained, although they received their full salary plus a generous gratuity. And as always happened with many of them, when they left the company they had offers from the other companies in Almera. Now the number of mercenaries was around 800, and by the next year many contracts were expiring, so the number would be reduced by half. That is why de Boek did not accept high-level commissions either. He had to manage the company's transition and surely leave it in the hands of a competent successor. Rumors began to spread inside the barracks, but honestly Agnorak didn't care, since in the end the founding partner would not leave the company and was actually the one in charge, a small and mischievous Denka. So you want to retire within a year? Agnorak raised his head. Gosberg was lying on his bed smoking quietly. What's the matter? There are no more unconscious rascals who allow themselves to be fleeced in Almera. I've been here for a long time, people already know me. The same trick can't work for eternity. At the moment it works well. Agnorak closed the little notebook in which he was writing his thoughts and looked at the Denka with some disdain. It's a good plan to retire, but do you think they'll let you? I don't serve any king, I don't have a family, I can do whatever I want once my contract ends. Don't have a family? There was a certain sarcasm in the tone of the Denka's question, and that made Agnorak rectify his argument. I don't have family to take care of. Gosberg sat up from the bed and advanced to the table with some elegance. I understand you perfectly, I'm tired of this too. Are you tired? Don't with me. In the end everything is boring, I hope your wish comes true sooner or later. The Denka left the room. The half-orc shook his head. People when they have nothing to do become very strange. He opened his notebook again to continue writing. There was a knock on the door. Agnorak sighed, for what seemed to have dawned convoluted today. Agnorak. It was Kritus who called him, startled, which was not very normal in the veteran dwarf of the Brown Hills. What's going on, Kritus? You don't know. All of Almera is revolutionized. Why? An elven warship is approaching the harbor. The half-orc calmly closed the notebook again. He should have suspected it. Gosberg appears, and now this could not be a coincidence. Damn Denka. He always laughs at us. The half-orc muttered to himself. Let's go to the port to see what they want.